From the beginning of the unrest, the leader had not spoken a word. Partly due to the fever leaving him physically weak and feeling somewhat disheartened by Merchant's betrayal, but mostly because he was lost in his own thoughts. Was I really wrong? No, I wasn't wrong. This wasn't self-pity, it was the truth. This wasn't a question with a fixed answer, a simple right or wrong. How to lead everyone to survive? This question never had a definitive answer. Everyone had their own answer. Merchant chose the present, while the leader tried to strike a balance between the present and the future. He had even once managed to harmonize the difficult conditions of search and rescue with gathering supplies. If not for this rain, he could have succeeded in both. New members would keep appearing in the camp, and everyone would safely get through the rainy season. He could have faced everyone with a smile, but in this world, there are no ifs. Should he blame the prophet for not accurately predicting the weather? No, human effort has its limits. Man proposes, but God disposes. So, now, the balance between the present and the future had been completely shattered. Others couldn't reconcile the imbalance in their hearts, and this anger needed an outlet. Why should we, who did nothing wrong, be punished? The target of their anger could only be the leader who issued the orders. Someone had to bear the responsibility. He didn't know if Merchant truly had no intention of seizing power, just forced by circumstances, or if Merchant indeed played a part in instigating this, but the result was the same. Both he and Merchant wanted to lead everyone to live well, but their answers differed, and this divergence finally erupted under external pressure. It was just that simple. This wasn't even about winners and losers, it was just fate. He let go of Swallow's supporting hand, tried his best to straighten his back, and shook his head at the eager Hawkeye. Hawkeye immediately lost his momentum. The leader looked back at Merchant. Their gazes met, and he saw no malice in Merchant's eyes, only straightforwardness. The leader sighed lightly and said, "I understand. I will leave the camp. From now on, you are the leader." Merchant nodded solemnly. He wasn't heartless enough to completely destroy the former leader who had saved him. However, like a defeated old wolf king in a wolf pack, the former leader, even after relinquishing power, couldn't stay here. Even if he wanted to, those still angry wouldn't allow it. "I'll go with you," said Swallow softly, who had also remained silent until now. The leader was taken aback. Swallow was a woman, considered his partner. Staying behind would be safer and she would be better taken care of. He looked at Swallow, whose gaze was filled with both gentleness and determination, making him realize he couldn't change her mind. The leader didn't say anything, just held Swallow's hand. "Fine, if anyone else wants to follow the leader, they can go too. I won't stop them," Merchant said. Hawkeye deliberately let out a loud sigh. "Fine, I've long had enough of being the boring gathering team captain. I'll go too." Aishen, who had informed him earlier, didn't say anything. He quietly stepped out from the crowd and stood beside the three, showing his choice through action. The fifth person to step forward was both unexpected and inevitable, the doctor, but as he squeezed through the crowd, he brought along a tail consort. She looked at the doctor with pleading eyes, holding his hand and dragging her feet. The meaning was clear. To be honest, compared to Merchant, Consort was certainly more familiar with Swallow, Hawkeye, and the others. Hawkeye was her bantering friend, Ashen was her teammate, and Swallow had also helped her adapt to camp life. But sometimes, it wasn't just about familiarity. Consort seemed strong but was actually quite fragile, like when she joined the hunting team out of curiosity and then easily gave up after her friend's death. She thought she could live freely and fight fearlessly, but she couldn't. Consort quickly realized she didn't have high aspirations. Even in this dangerous world, she just wanted to live peacefully with her man. For a woman, her thoughts were certainly understandable. Many in the hunting team had pursued Consort, but she refused them all. Ultimately, she chose the doctor, which surprised many. Though the doctor was a special talent, he was practically helpless in dangerous situations. This was a huge weakness in this world, but Consort still chose him for a simple reason: she didn't want her partner to be constantly in danger, making her worrying all the time. Every woman needs a sense of security, but their definitions vary. Some think men in the hunting team who can protect them provide security, while others, like Consort, believe a man who can live peacefully with her without risking his life does. The doctor met Consort's requirements. He had an irreplaceable position in the camp and was a capable man, and his role ensured he would be protected and not exposed to danger. Until the doctor decided to leave with the leader. She didn't want the doctor to leave. Without the camp's support, living in the forest was too dangerous. Only the leader, Hawkeye, and Shen could fight, and now the leader was sick, further burdening the group. Besides, if he left, what would happen to her? She wanted the doctor to stay for her. The doctor clearly understood her meaning. Consort and he had always had a good relationship. The doctor was straightforward, blunt, and known for speaking his mind. He enjoyed criticizing and mocking others, though without malice. He always spoke the truth, which could be annoying. Without his special status, many would have disliked him long ago. Few could tolerate him, but Consort was one. Having been together for so long, he naturally understood her thoughts. He stopped, his face expressionless. At this moment, no one could tell what he was thinking, but it was clear he was having an internal struggle. Should he choose Consort, his longtime partner, or his savior and brothers? After a brief pause, he asked, "Did you know about the unrest beforehand?" Consort's face turned pale. As the camp gossip, she heard all sorts of news. Honestly, she didn't know about the unrest, but she had heard rumors, though she didn't expect this outcome. "Did you know? If the leader hadn't insisted on continuing the search, we wouldn't have suffered such losses." Couldn't he have paused? Upon hearing such words, she had a bad feeling. But she didn't say anything, feeling there was a conspiracy, and chose to protect herself. Seeing her expression, the doctor knew the answer. He said flatly, "Let go." The leader had saved his life, and he was his brother. He might be physically weak, but that didn't mean he lacked spirit. Though his words lacked any subject, everyone knew whom he was addressing. Consort's face went white, and her hands seemed to lose strength. The doctor easily shook her off. Merchant's face twitched. The leader, Swallow, and Hawkeye leaving was expected. His earlier words were meant for Hawkeye. Regardless of the leader, Swallow managed all the women in the camp, and Hawkeye led the gathering team. If they stayed, Merchant couldn't immediately replace them with his own people. So, it was best they left, taking potential rivals with them, securing his position. Shen didn't matter, he was just an ordinary team member. But the doctor was different. Merchant knew the doctor was mostly a figurehead, but his presence reassured many. However, Merchant couldn't contradict himself now. But before Merchant could object, the others did. Unaware of the details, they were just angry. They had supported the doctor well, and now he wanted to leave. What would happen if someone fell sick? How could he abandon them? "You can leave, but he can't." "Yes." "Right, who will treat us if you go?" The situation became chaotic, but Consort didn't care. She looked at the doctor hopefully, wanting him to stay, even if forcibly. But the doctor seemed oblivious to her gaze, not sparing her a second look. "Enough," the doctor's shout silenced the crowd. He took a deep breath and said, "Look at me. I was just a surgical intern. In this place without proper medical facilities, I can't treat anything." This conclusion was obvious, but no one expected him to say it now. After a moment of silence, even greater chaos erupted. "Liar, deceived us for so long, liar, get out." Enraged, they no longer tried to keep him, instead denouncing him. The doctor achieved his goal, but those who knew him knew how proud he was. This was a sore point for him, and exposing it in front of everyone was painful. But no matter how he felt, he showed no emotion, stiffly walking towards the leader and the others.